Hello, dear students. Welcome to Pen and Paper Chemistry. We are continuing with our topic of states of matter, and this is part 4 in the series of videos. And as always, I hope you have your pen and paper ready so that you can take down notes for offline reference. In the previous videos, we have already spoken about the Boyle's law, the Charles law. Just uh, tabulating what we have learned so far. Boyle's law, we correlated volume and pressure, keeping the mass and temperature as constant. Charles' law, we correlated volume and temperature in the absolute scale or the thermodynamic temperature or the temperature, what we say in Kelvin, we are writing it with capital T, and wherein we have kept mass and pressure as constant. Using the Boyle's law and the Charles law, we are now going to frame the gas equation, wherein we shall study the relation between volume, temperature, and pressure, wherein what is going to remain constant? Just the mass. We've seen that volume is inversely proportional to pressure when temperature and mass are constant. Volume is directly proportional to temperature when pressure and mass are constant. Now what we are going to do, we are going to combine the two and we get V is directly proportional to T upon P, wherein mass only remains constant. Removing the proportionality sign, we put a constant K over here, T upon P. Therefore, your PV upon T is a constant. Now, as you have seen earlier, we are going to derive a simple formula from this. So, we have P1 V1 upon T1 when the gas is in state 1 is equals to P2 V2 upon T2 when the gas is in state 2 is equals to P3 V3 upon T3 when the gas is in state 3, and so on and so forth. Although in our calculations we will be using this set of formulas. So are you ready to practice a few questions based on this? Do you remember the steps for doing a numerical? Yes. So we have the data. We check the units. We apply the formula, substitute the values, and we get the answer. Make sure that you write the units for the particular calculation you have done. Okay, I've listed a question for you over here. Give it a try yourself. It says a fixed mass of gas occupies 22.7 decimeter cube at 0 degrees Celsius and 1 bar pressure. What volume will the same gas, so when we are saying same gas means we are not changing the constitution of the gas nor are we adding or removing any gas, occupy at 27 degrees Celsius and 100 Pascal pressure. So work it out yourself. Let me know your answers. In the meantime, I shall also introduce another law to you, which is called as the Gay-Lussac's law or the pressure-temperature relationship. Now, this particular law is a derivative from the Boyle's law and the Charles law because we have correlated volume and temperature. So, we can also correlate pressure and temperature. Now, we said that volume is directly proportional to T upon P. We already derived a relation between volume and pressure, that they are inversely related. So if I take the volume and the mass of the gas as constant, so what do you think will be the relation between pressure and temperature? Perfect. So if this is constant, then what will we have? Constant into pressure is directly proportional to temperature, or we can say pressure of a fixed volume of gas and fixed mass of gas is directly proportional to its temperature in the absolute scale. Please do not forget the temperature here being in Kelvin. So let us uh, uh, jot down this pressure law. Why don't you do it yourself? Now you have seen 3 videos till now where I have stressed on some important points, important key terms when you write a definition. So why don't you use that knowledge to state the pressure law for me? Check. Have you got it right? Pressure of a fixed mass. So the first key term that you have to remember is the fixed mass of gas at constant volume. And what type of relation do they have? Yes, it's a direct relation to the temperature in the absolute scale or in Kelvin, right? So from the above relationship, we will have pressure upon temperature P1 upon T1 is equals to P2 upon T2. And you can again use it to solve various situations, or various calculations can be done on the basis of this relationship. Now that you know that pressure is directly proportional to temperature, in other words, what happens in the summer months in the tires of your vehicles, even your bicycle, would you like to keep your tire fully inflated, or would you leave it partially inflated? Right? Think about it. What would you have to be careful about? You have heard about tire burst, right? So is it appropriate to fill it fully during the summer months? You know that the pressure is directly proportional to temperature. So in the summer month, if you do not adjust the pressure of the air inside the tire, what will happen? Yes, with increase in temperature, the pressure will increase and there are chances. We know that, right? Now, in the previous video, we had drawn a graph, right? We had drawn a graph between volume and temperature. Do you remember that graph? That the lines on those graphs, you had got lines like, yes, how was it? Correct, something like this. What are these lines called as? What is this graph known as? When you are correlating volume and temperature and keeping pressure constant. So pressure is constant means it will be called something like ISO, right? And what is the unit of pressure that we normally use? Bar. Hence, these lines are known as isobars, right? This we are going back to what we did under Charles' law. Just a quick recall. Now, my question to you is, let us suppose this isobar is at pressure P1. Draw an isobar at pressure P2 where we know that P2 is greater than P1. Tell me, the slope would be lower or higher? Think about it. Let us now also go on to draw the graph for the Gay-Lussac's law that we have studied just now. Now that you know the graph for Charles' law, yes, everything, all the details have to be marked over here. Now you know the graph for Charles' law. Would you like to draw the graph for Gay-Lussac's law? Or which is also written as the pressure law in some cases. So we have the pressure over here, which can be listed in bars or it can be listed in decimeter cube. There are various units. We have already spoken about those in video number 1. And we have the temperature over here and we are taking it in the thermodynamic scale, that is Kelvin. What do you think would be the graph? Remember in Charles' law it was V directly proportional to T. Here it's P directly proportional to T. Correct. The graph would be something just like what we drew in the, yes, in the Charles law. So although the hypothetical temperature 0 Kelvin is difficult to attain because the gases liquefy before that, but we can show the graph as extrapolated and we draw a straight line graph. Now, what name would you give to this graph now? Remembering that here volume is being kept constant. So constant means obviously I'm going to use the word iso, right? And volume is constant. So these graphs are known as isocores, graphs drawn when the volume is kept constant. Challenge number 2. Now here this graph is for volume V1. Challenge question. Draw the pressure temperature graph for volume V2 where we know that V2 is greater than V1. Think about these graphs. What will happen? We are going to discuss both the graphs. So what is there is P2 here is greater than P1, here V2 is greater than V1. How will the graphs change? Apply logic over here. You know that in Charles' law, you studied that pressure and volume are inversely related to one another. If you are increasing the pressure, what will happen to the volume? Yes, volume will reduce. So compared to P1, a gas at pressure P2 will occupy a lower volume, right? Talking about the same temperature. So if let's suppose I am taking the temperature as this at pressure P1, that means at pressure P2, where P2 is greater than P1, my gas will occupy a volume which is lower than the volume at P1, right? So what will we do? Again, yes, draw the graph. Go ahead. Yes, it will lie lower than the graph for P1, right? So this is the logic behind it. You see over here? Now work on the similar logic. Think about it. How will the second graph change? Now V2 is greater than V1. Now where will your V2 curve lie? Again, apply the same principle. What is the relation between pressure and volume? Just now we did. Good, perfect. Again, you have increased the volume means the pressure corresponding to that volume will be lower. So your V2 is greater than V1. The isochore, the slope of this isochore will be lower. So you see this, the slope is different. for the two graphs. Clear? Okay, have you solved this question? Pause the video and solve it. If that's the whole purpose of having the pen and paper in your hand, so you can be a participant in this class rather than just being an audience. Come on, participate, do the numerical. So we have over here volume, V1 is 22.7 decimeter cube. T1, it is 0 degrees Celsius. I'm not going to leave it in Celsius. I will convert it to Kelvin. So this becomes 273 Kelvin. For ease of use, we are just taking 273. The exact value actually is 273.15, right? So just to make the calculation simpler, we'll stick to 273. The pressure over here is 1 bar. What do you have to find out? The new volume. The same gas occupies at a temperature of 27 degrees Celsius. So again, we convert it to Kelvin and we get 300 Kelvin. And the pressure over here is 100 pascals. Now, if you see over here, we already converted the unit for temperature. Well done. But if you see bar and Pascal, correct? So either I convert Pascals to bar or bar to Pascals. You can do either way. 1 bar 10 to the power 5 PA. Right? Remember the conversions that we did earlier? And then rest is super simple. P1 V1 upon T1 is equals to P2 V2 upon T2. Jot down the values over here and calculate the answer. Simple. So again, I repeat, just jot down the data. Be careful of the units. Write the formula. Substitute the units. Substitute the values. And then don't forget to write the answer with the correct unit. And that's all what numericals are about. Let me now introduce another law and what we call as Avogadro's law. By the way, we've already covered this Avogadro's law when we did the basics of physical chemistry. But let us see how we are going to use it for gases. Till now, we've been very kind to pressure, volume, and temperature, and they have already struck a nice bond with each other, right? All the while, we have been asking mass to keep silent. But now mass says, no, I'm not going to stay silent. I also want to be a part of this beautiful relationship. So what do? We go on to Avogadro's law, which states that equal volumes of all gases under similar conditions of temperature and pressure contain the same number of particles. As with the other laws, what we are doing is we are correlating volume and the number of particles, and number of particles means the mass, right? But what are we taking constant here? Temperature and pressure are kept constant. That is what we mean when we say similar conditions of temperature and pressure, right? So what we've got over here is we've got a new relation, volume and number of particles. Now I'm going to stop here because I want to carry this forward in the next video where I shall also be explaining the universal gas constant or the universal constant. So stay connected when we go on to the next video. In the meantime, what is your task? 5 questions. This time only 5 questions on the pressure law and 5 questions on the gas equation. Please do it so that you have a big smile when somebody talks about this topic, right? See you in the next video.